We observe today, nearly a century ago, the belief that the rights of man has been tempered by war at home and around the world.
We've never had a tragedy like this.
Let all our neighbors know.
They had that special grace, that special spirit that says, give me a challenge and I'll meet it with joy.
That we shall pay any price.
And we'll continue to follow them.
But knowing that here on Earth,
the crew of the Space Shuttle Challenger honored us for the manner in which they lived their lives.
God's work must truly be our own.
We will never forget them, nor the last time we saw them.
Yesterday, December 7th, 1941,
as they prepared for their journey and waved goodbye.
A date which will live in infamy.
And slipped the surly bonds of earth to touch the face of God.
The United States of America was suddenly and deliberately attacked by naval and air forces of the Empire of Japan.
And we who've come here to Washington have come here because we feel we have to be winter soldiers now.
We share a common future.
We could come back to this country and we could be quiet. We could hold our silence. We could not tell what went on in Vietnam.
It is time to break the silence.
But we feel because of what threatens this country.
It is conferences like this that compel governments and peoples everywhere to listen, look, and face the world's most pressing problems.
The fact that the crimes threaten it, not Reds and not redcoats, but the crimes which we're committing are what threaten it. And we have to speak out.
It took 150 years after the signing of our Declaration of Independence for women to win the right to vote.
The country doesn't know it yet.
But it's created a monster.
That the world focused for the first time on the crisis of domestic violence.
We're angry because we feel we have been used in the worst fashion by the administration of this country.
And when I replied West Point, he remarked, "Beautiful place. Have you ever been there before?"
And this was used as a rallying point for our effort in Vietnam. But for us, his boys in Asia, whom the country was supposed to support, his statement is a terrible distortion from which we can only draw a very deep sense of revulsion, and hence the anger of some of the men who are here in Washington today.
What we are learning around the world is that
we will be able to save Vietnam, and not mean a desert, not a filthy, obscene memory, but mean instead the place where America finally turned, and where soldiers like us helped it in the turning.
Your guidepost stands out like a tenfold beacon in the night. Duty, honor, country.
a celebration of the contributions women make in every aspect of life.
These great national problems are not for your professional participation or military solution.
They flaunt the grisly photographs before their eyes.
From your ranks come the great captains who hold the nation's destiny in their hands the moment the war tocsin sounds.
And to imprint them vividly upon the minds of the younger generation.
By power groups grown too arrogant, by politics grown too corrupt, by crime grown too rampant, by morals grown too low, by taxes grown too high.
They denounce the crime and insensate folly of human strife.
He lives under a curse. He writes not of love, but of lust, of defeats in which nobody loses anything of value, of victories without hope, and worst of all, without pity or compassion. His griefs grieve on no universal bones, leaving no scars.
trying to make 1968 the year of decision in South Vietnam, the year that brings, if not final victory or defeat, at least a turning point in the struggle.
Using this fine moment as a pinnacle from which I might be listened to by the young men and young women already dedicated to the same anguish and travail, among whom is one who may someday stand where I stood this afternoon.
The United States is ready to send its representatives to any forum, at any time, to discuss the means of bringing this ugly war to an end.
There are no longer problems of the spirit. There is only one question: when will I be blown up?
Armies on both sides will take new casualties, and the war will go on.
Today we've had a national tragedy. 2 airplanes have crashed into the World Trade Center in an apparent terrorist attack on our country.
It was a powerful reminder of the awful human toll.
The massive rescue effort that's going on right now. We're trying to evacuate thousands and thousands of people.
To the various consequences of a changing planet.
Terrorism against our nation will not stand.
Getting 200 nations to agree on anything is hard.
This will be going on all day. It's a horrible, horrible tragedy.
Difficult moment for America.
It's frightening, but it's solvable.
Our world is increasingly a place of violent conflict, hatred, and brutal atrocities, committed even in the name of God and of religion.
A terrible attack like happened here in Paris.
Our response must instead be one of hope and healing, of peace and justice.
That the future is ours to shape.
Each son or daughter of a given country has a mission, a personal and social responsibility.
See what works. When something doesn't work, we have to change our approach.
So that as many young people as possible can inherit and dwell in a land which has inspired so many people to dream.
I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal.
Don't be trapped by dogma, which is living with the results of other people's thinking. Don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your own inner voice. And most important, have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become. Everything else is secondary.
With this faith, we will be able to transform the jangling discords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood.
It was their farewell message as they signed off.
I still have a dream.
Live not for battles won. Live not for the end of the song. Live in the along.
Now is the time to rise from the dark and desolate valley of segregation to the sunlit path of racial justice.
So you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect in your future. You have to trust in something, your gut, destiny, life, karma, whatever. Because believing that the dots will connect down the road will give you the confidence to follow your heart, even when it leads you off the well-worn path. And that will make all the difference.
You must live along with, and you have to stand for something larger than yourself. Because life is a reciprocal exchange. To move forward, you have to give back.
From every mountainside, let freedom ring, and if America is to be a great nation, this must become true.
Whatever has happened to you in your past has no power over this present moment, because life is now.
America.
America's
America.
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 America. America.
In the land of the free, at the home of the brave.
you